Was Zombieland worth the 10-year wait? I think it was. So Zombieland brings back Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin. And within these 10 years, they have came closer together as they ever thought they would. And once a new breed of zombies come to the world, their fight for survival is now the biggest problem that they have facing. Now, I was really excited to see Zombieland Double Tap because I'm a huge fan of the first one. I was late to the party on that one. I didn't get to see that one until it was out on DVD. And I was really surprised by how funny that movie was. And so this movie came a little bit of hesitation because usually comedy sequels aren't the best things, especially when they're 10 years or 15 years apart. And so one of the biggest hesitations that I had with this film was if it was either live up to the first one or if it was just going to be another sequel that copy and pasted what the first one was and added a little bit of characterization to not only to these characters but to this world that we are now living in. And one thing that I can say is that for the most part, this movie is a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun seeing Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin after 10 years. And it kind of feels like they've not only grown together, but they've also learned to get along and live in a world full of zombies where there's nobody around. Until Zoe Deutsch pops up early in the film, and this movie does add the brilliance of Zoe Deutsch, Rosario Dawson, Thomas Middleditch, and Luke Wilson. And for the most part, I really did enjoy half of the cast that they recruited in this film. Now, one of the new characters that they added in is Zoe Deutsch's Madison, and she's supposed to be this Jar Jar Binks of Zombieland, but she really works in this film, and I wasn't really worried about her being in this film because I really enjoyed what we saw in the trailers, and I'm a huge fan of Zoe Deutsch. I think she's very beautiful, and I think she pulls this character off the best way that she possibly can. And she really does work with the rest of the cast. And she had a lot of laugh out loud moments in this film that I really had a really fun time with. And Rosario Dawson as Nevada is another great addition to this film because even though she's limited in this film, she does take a little bit of a backseat to Zoe Deutsch's character, and I think they used her as well as they possibly could in this film. I wish they could have used her a little bit better in this film, but I really enjoyed Rosario Dawson in this film. And another thing that I can say about this film that is on the positive side is that there are huge laughs between all the main cast members in this film. Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin bring back something that could have easily been lost within the past 10 years, but they actually feel like they've been living in these characters' shoes for the past 10 years and they have not lost a beat, especially when it comes to Woody Harrelson. I think he has the biggest pop in this film, just like he did in the first one. And I think that even though Abigail Breslin does take a little bit of a backseat in this film from the regular cast members, I think she was really good in this film, and I like the way that she's evolved as a actress and the way she embodies Little Rock after these 10 years. I think she did a really good job, and Emma Stone does a really good job of bringing back the dynamic that she has between Jesse Eisenberg again. And I think the relationship that Jesse Eisenberg and Emma Stone have in this film is great, and I really like what they did with these two characters. And if there's one thing that Kingsman has taught me is that we could have used a little bit more of Freebird in this film. I wish they would have used that at the end of the film, but that goes into the cons that I have with this film because even though this isn't a perfect film, and I do have some gripes with this film, and that will lead us into the cons because even though I really enjoyed this film, I think if they just added Rosario Dawson and Zoe Deutsch in this film, I would have been very pleased and I would have enjoyed this movie a little bit more. But the way that they used Tom Middleditch and Luke Wilson in this film is really just a copy and paste of Columbus and Tallahassee. You see a lot of characterisms in this film between those characters, but I wish that they either did something better with those characters, or I wish they would have cut those characters out completely, because when those characters shows up, even though I do love Luke Wilson and Thomas Middleditch. I do think that their addition in this film dragged the pace a little bit, and I really wish that they would have either done better with those characters or they would have completely removed them, because I just felt like they were really unnecessary, and I wish that they would have given more screen time to Zoe Deutsch in this film instead of those two, because they really aren't. They're really just for that one scene, and they're gone for the rest of the film. And I know that I'm going to mispronounce this name because I have, even though I watched Victorious a lot back in the days, and I never knew how to pronounce his last name. Even Georgina, I definitely butchered that name. I think I would have done without his character too, even though this film needed him for a plot point that involves Little Rock to run away. I really do wish that they would have either did the same thing that they did with Luke Wilson and Thomas Middleditch. I wish they either cut him out or they used him a little bit better, because even though his performance was good in this film, I really wish that he was, stretched out either a little bit or not at all, because that go back to the pace. I think whenever we cut back to him, it really drags the pace a little bit and and it makes it feel a little bit longer than it actually should be. But I think he did a really good job in this film. I think everybody in this film did a really good job, and I think Ruben Fleischer did a really good job with this film too, like he did with the first Zombieland. And I think the biggest thing that I really didn't like about this film was the ending of this film. I think the last fight between all the zombies was really just a slow burn, and I wish they could have done a little bit more like they did with the first one. But overall, if you're a fan of the first one, you're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of this film. And if you didn't like the first one, you might get a little bit of enjoyment in this film. It's a lot similar to what the first one was. So if you didn't like the first one, it's a 50-50% chance that you're going to enjoy this film. But if you did, I think you're going to enjoy this film a lot, either a lot more or just as much as the first one. But with those pros and cons that I have with this film, I really did enjoy this film. I can't wait to see it again. And if they want to do a Zombieland 3 in 10 years, I would be down for it. I will definitely be at that theater, and I will enjoy the third one just as much as I enjoyed these two. I'm going to go ahead and give Zombieland Double Tap an 8 out of 10. Did you see Zombieland Double Tap? Did you enjoy it? What did you think? Did you enjoy it more than you did with the first one? Or did you not enjoy it as much as the first one? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments what you think of it. And if you like this review, go ahead and check out my other reviews as well. Also, click that like and subscribe button down below as well. And until next time, this is Josie's Reviews.